muscle versus fat and how it plays out when you are looking to release weight. That's the point of today's conversation, because that has been the focus of what I am going through in my own journey. So at the point of this recording, I am 9 weeks in, okay? I've made it past 2 full months. And so I am also doing body scans. So not just stepping on a scale, not just doing measurements, but actually doing body composition scans so I can find out what's happening inside of my body and give myself a better awareness, a better understanding of what is working and what is not working. So I want to help to break this down because there's a lot I have been learning in this process, including how growing muscle and releasing fat are 2 very different things. So what you're doing as you're progressing, as you're working out, is you're looking to increase the muscle and decrease the fat. Agreed? Okay. But here's the thing. If you're only looking at a scale, or if you're not understanding fully what's happening in your body, you may not understand why you might be gaining weight. And so if you've watched any of my previous videos, or you want to look back and reference now, you will see that in my journey from week 2, when I first started my scanning and my measurements, so I was in week 2 to week 6, so 4 weeks, I gained 10 pounds. And it was devastating. It was a challenge. I will say that, because it's going in a totally different direction. And I felt it. Doing things, moving about, just felt harder. Even though I knew I was growing stronger from my workouts, like I wasn't going to give them up. But at the same time, I could feel that extra 10 pounds I was carrying around. And I bring that up because in that journey of gaining 10 pounds at week 6, here I am at week 9, and guess where I'm at? I am down 7 pounds. So I'm like, what is even happening right now? So from that period, from week 6 to week 9, because I just did another body scan, it's like, what? 7 total pounds released. And here's the kicker I want to share with you. In that time frame, I have built up 1.3 pounds of muscle. Now, you might be like, 1.3, that's not a lot, because you're thinking 1.3 pounds of muscle in probably the same way you're thinking 1.3 pounds of fat. And they're not the same, okay? To let go of 1.3 pounds of fat, I'd be like, oh, well, that's all. But to gain 1.3 pounds of muscle as a woman over 40, as a woman, period, like who has, hormonal issues and other things going on, like this is not an easy thing for us to do. We are not 17 anymore. So to be a woman who is midlife and beyond gaining muscle, when I looked this up, the average rate of gaining muscle for a woman in her 40s and beyond, a good rate of success, is 0.5 pound of muscle in a month. And so I have gained 1.3 since I first started tracking at week 2 and week 9. So that's 7 weeks of data. I have gained 1.3 pounds of muscle. So let me give you a visual comparison, okay? You keep bouncing. I'm going to grab something. Just for visual references, imagine that this is 1 pound of fat, okay? And it's lumpy. This is actually full of down feathers, so it is kind of squishy. But this is 1 pound of fat. And this could be 1 pound of muscle. You see that they look different? That they would one would take up more volume in your body, would be lumpier. Fat is lumpier. Fat takes up more space. There's more tightness in a pound of muscle. I'm just showing you, if these weighed the same, they are not the same as far as the structure. So 1.3 pounds of fat and 1.3 pounds of muscle are not the same. Are you catching this? This is huge to understand because this impacts how things are showing up and working in your body. Is this exciting to you the way it is to me? Like this discovery, this understanding, this clarity of how muscle versus fat and how it's working and building inside of my body is helping me to feel inspired. now I know that my workouts bouncing on the rebounder are having a definitive effect on my body and my whole composition, and that it is working. Now, one thing you might be thinking is like, okay, well, why did you spike so much? And one thing I want you to think about is if you start your rebounding journey and you have an opposite effect, if your weight starts to go up like mine did, I don't want you to give up. I want you to consider that one, you might be building muscle. So you might see the scale go up. But at the same time, not all of my weight gain was muscle. And I know this because the scans reveal that the balance, it talks about muscle, it talks about fat, it talks about water weight. Some people thought, well, maybe it's water weight. And that can be a reason that you gain weight. And your body is looking to take in some more water because it needs it as it's rebuilding. Because when you are doing any kind of new changes in your body needs the water. Your body is made of so much water, and it needs the water to fuel you. It needs the water to hydrate you. It also needs the body's water supply for restoration, repair, especially when you're breaking down and building back up, which is what the process of building muscle is about, okay? So there might be water retention. My scans did not reveal that my water was fluctuating hardly at all in this whole time. So I don't think I had a lot of water retention. So let's look at the other reasons. So another reason that I could consider for why I gained weight in my personal stance and why you might is that you might be all of a sudden going through shifts. And when I say shifts as a woman, these are hormonal shifts because your hormones can be reset. I'm like doing air quotes to use that word loosely as what could be happening, but you can start to feel your energy shift when you work out. If you work out consistently, your body is going through changes. My first period working out with the rebounder was very crampy. I had a lot of cramps that first period. And I was like, this is a little bit strange. It was more than normal. But my second period going through was much calmer. Why? What happened there? I do think that there's something that my body was going through, the changes that my body has been experiencing with rebounding that was attributing to that. And there is evidence to support that your hormones can shift and feel a difference in balance and regulation and how things are turned on and turned off and all the things. Once again, I am not a medical professional and I am in no way, shape, or form advising you or educating you on hormones. I'm speaking just in the most broadest and generalist of terms. And so take a look that there could be some hormonal shifts that are happening that could be causing an influx in weight. Another reason that you could gain weight when you first start a workout routine is the fact that your body is burning off more calories as you start to work out. Yay, that's wonderful. But at the same time, you might feel an influx of hunger because your body hasn't yet regulated. I am down in consumption for what I need to eat. At the same time, I have adjusted my macros, so I make sure I'm taking in more protein and balancing out when I put in the carbs. So carbs act as fuel, okay? Because one of the things I added in my breakfast this morning, I had 2 eggs and 2 pieces of turkey bacon and sauteed diced onion and red pepper, okay? So all of this is like super healthy, really good carb intake. And then I added in I diced up and air fried some red potato because that's carbohydrate. But that's good carbs as far as like, I think good carbs as if God made it and it can grow from the earth, then that's good carbs for me, okay? It's not like I'm eating a donut or a piece of bread. So when I looked at this and I put in those good carbs, I immediately, after I ate, I went for a walk. And so I'm helping to regulate my blood sugar, okay? That's an important part of your health journey, is making sure that you're moving after you eat so that it doesn't spike your blood sugar. And so you're monitoring your insulins because that could also be spiking your weight if you're not managing that, okay? Then I took a quick cool down break and then I came out here and now I'm bouncing. So I'm using those carbs from that red potato along with the protein that I got from those fuel sources, because that's how I'm thinking about my food now. I'm like, fuel? Do I have enough fuel to go do what I'm asking you to do? And in the beginning, I wasn't, because my intake, although I thought was healthy, was not quite regulated enough. And in that case, I was needing more food and I was hungrier more often with the increase in my workouts. And so then I was taking in more calories. And so that could be attributed to my weight gain. Does that make sense? So what you want to look at are all these different variables. This is what I'm saying. Go into being a scientist. Be a scientist for your own body. Do a data study. Collect as much data input as you can. If you're not going to do a body scanner, then okay, but how could you start tracking and writing down what you're eating? Noticing how your energy is feeling. Definitely doing measurements in addition to weight. But here's the thing. Some people say, I'm only going to do measurements. I know not to pay attention to the scale. I don't care what the number on the scale says, but I'm going to do measurements. And I'm going to do based on how my clothes feel. That didn't work for me. That alone did not work for me because my measurements have not changed drastically yet. And I can feel like in my body, it feels stronger, it feels tighter, but my measurements are changing so slowly that it's almost imperceptible on the measurements themselves. And I have had different bloating. I've had even bloating based on different times of the day. And so it's just, for me, I also know that it's summer. And I know that my body tends to swell up towards the end of the day and feel things differently. So it's just, you gotta be paying attention. You gotta be tracking and noticing all of this. So be the scientist in your life that your body needs you to be. Because here's what I have come to believe. Instead of judging my body, instead of saying things like, and these are all things I have said, so I'm not even making these up. These are just things that I believe for far too long. My body is working against me. My body doesn't like me. My body doesn't support me. My body gains weight so easily. What else? It's just so hard for me to lose weight. All of these things I have said, and it just devastates me now to hear these because I'm like, I've said these, I believe them, so my body continued, like in my life, I continue to manifest these results because you get what you believe. And I so strongly believed these statements, and I had all the evidence because I could show you, look what I've done, and look how I gained weight. But I wasn't studied myself as a scientist to see how starting a new exercise plan, starting a new diet, a new way of eating might have caused my weight to go up. And it wasn't that my body was working against me. My body needed time to adjust. Are you with me? And that's what I've discovered in this journey. And because I was not willing to give up, I made the commitment. Check out yesterday's video where I talk about that. Because you've got to have more than just a goal. You've got to have a commitment so you can stay the course to get to the goal. Because the goal in itself is not always enough of a driver. You've got to have the commitment and the reason why you're going to keep showing up, keep doing it to get there. And so as I put all this together, I came to a place of realizing my body is not against me, because if it was, I'd be dead. My body is here to support me. My body is here to give me energy and life and sustain me. So my soul has a place to interact and move and do its thing here on earth. And so my body wants to heal. My body wants to release the weight as much as I do in my mind. It doesn't want to have to struggle and carry around this extra 100+ pounds. So if it wants the same things I want, then it's up to me to investigate. It's up to me to figure out what is happening, what does it need, what do I need to do differently to support it, so that we can be on the same page going towards the same goal. And when I thought about it like that, that put me in scientist mode, that allowed me to collect all the data that I needed, start studying the data, getting nutrition advice and direction to understand this, to educate myself, to do better. And in doing better, I'm experiencing results. Now in tomorrow's video, I'm going to show you the scanner that I've been using and teach you a little bit more about what this scanner does, show you what some scans look like, just give you a little bit more education with that, okay? Because you might be looking into how can I use the scanner, what do I do? So that's in tomorrow's video. Thanks for going on that conversation with me. I hope that was encouraging to you as you go through your own journey to getting in shape, taking care of your body, and understanding what it needs to reach your goals. Happy bouncing, friend, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.